Yes, Arohan. I think we are good to go.
Right. So thank you very much for agreeing to this interview. I'm very grateful, and so are my classmates who are also working on the magazine. Uh,
Mhm.
would you like to introduce yourself? I know you, but for others.
All right. Myself, Naman Vankdari. I am an advocate and also the co-founder and chief advisor of the Indian Conclave. Firstly, I thank Mr. Arohan Hariharan for this invitation, for having me on board and considering me as an authority or a person qualified enough to take this interview forward for an institution that is as reputed as Delhi Public School and their erudite magazine. I hope I do justice to the invitation that has been served to me.
Right. Thank you very much for the introduction. May I ask how old you are?
I'm sorry?
May I ask how old you are?
I'm 20. I'll be turning 24 this month.
24.
So right now you can consider me as 24 running.
Right. And what are your qualifications?
What is my
Qualifications. Where have you studied?
qualifications? All right. I graduated from the University Law College. I got my BA LLB degree from that institution by University Law College, Bangalore University. And apart from that, I am a qualified debater, represented the state of Karnataka at national level summits. And followed by, I have represented the state in many conferences, and I've been a part of the Ministry of Law, State Government of Karnataka's various delegations at multiple simulations and conferences.
Awesome. That's a very incredible resume that you have. Uh, and where are you working right now, if I may ask?
So yes, I am a criminal advocate by passion, but I take up all cases. So for a time being, I was working in ASV firms. We are currently going skeletal owing to the pandemic, but that is where I used. And apart from that, I take my own cases, file public interest litigations, especially for the students and for the laborers, etc., on multiple issues. And more than that, I've also, since I'm the co-founder of my startup called is the Indian Conclave. I'm also working and advising the team and working on that front. So I'm shuffling between two jobs. Apart from that, I am researching and writing articles and pursuing my research for certain personalities, which I would want to keep it confidential for now in this interview.
Right. That is quite the workload. How would you define, how would you explain your typical work day? What is it that you would do on a typical work day?
Typical work day.
Right.
All right. So typical work day for me is someone like I am a lover of work. So I am someone who places my duty above my individual self. I am someone who prioritizes my work, my office over personal commitments. And if you ask me why is that I've made such a lunatic choice, it's because of the amazing team who inspires me, like be it my Indian Conclave team or my lawyers. Even now, you go, our office is open and people are working. Indian Conclave, they're up till 5 in the morning, they're working. So my typical work life is someone I like waking up at 6 in the morning, getting my boots on at 8:30 in the morning, and coming back home at 11:30, 12 in the night, only to grab some quick dinner and get a good night's sleep. So that is my work ethic, and I believe at this age of every Indian at the age of from the age of 18 to 30 35 should really work hard and dedicate significant amount of time. Only then can we explore our true potential and make this country a great place.
Right. That is an amazing work ethic that you have. The attitude is brilliant. Uh, why did you choose to go with law? What inspired you to get into this career path?
Okay, so basically, I am very proud to say that I am an accidental lawyer. Law career was not something of my choice. Law career was not something that I wanted to do. Law was not something that I was really seeing myself into. Though because I was a good orator, I used to participate in a lot of debates, etc. in my schools and PU college. That's like my 11th and 12th. They decided this career was decided for me. So there was some kind of peer pressure. But if you ask me as Naman Vankdari, what were you truly interested in? I was living in my own world, theater, drama, especially more than acting, directing the plays, writing script, working backstage, setting up the acoustics of the auditorium. This was something that I was deeply interested in. And to a large extent, I had pursued my career and I had also chosen certain courses for my undergraduation, which complemented my areas of interest. But then destiny wanted me to be a lawyer. So I am here today with absolutely no regrets. And yes.
That I wasn't expecting you to be an accidental lawyer. I assumed you were, I want to be a lawyer from when you were the age of 6. I assumed that, but this I wasn't expecting this. It's incredible. Now, what would you say is the best thing about your job? What you like or dislike, either way, about your job?
So I think this is going to be a bit lengthy because as I already started off my interview saying I have 2 jobs.
Right.
So firstly, speaking about me as an advocate, what I love about advocacy is the ability and the power the profession gives you to, solve the problems and the grievances of the people. Like they trust you so well, they share their confidential information with you, they place so much of belief in you. And when I was in my first year, second year law, somebody told me that Naman, you will have your own problems, but here you have taken up a profession where you have to make others' problems as your own problems. So when such is the field, such is the profession. So, but what I look at it the brighter side, like the amount of belief the people have in us, the trust the people have in us, the faith the people have in us, and every time we are arguing, the way people bless us, and when we win a case, the happiness that we get to see on people's face, that is one thing. Second of all, the authority. Like, when you're wearing a black blazer, when you're wearing that advocate attire, when your car has the advocate sticker, when you're going around, how the police, the trembles talking to you, how the authorities, like wherever you go, you say that you're a law student or a lawyer, the amount of respect you get, like if every field is getting one kind of a treatment, you will be given one kind of a treatment. I have to share a small story here. It was in the year 2020, January, when I was in the United States of America. I was flying with a delegation and everybody flew from Dubai while I flew from Bahrain, then Dubai, then US because I had some work in these 2 countries as well. So I was flagged for a reason, I don't know for what, while my team was let go. And when I was flagged, I was interrogated for like 40 minutes as to what was my purpose of visit. They checked my luggage, etc., etc. It was until they saw my law college ID card and they're like, okay, you're a law student. And they started asking me questions on law. I was lucky enough to know some little information about the American Constitution and the legal procedures there. But the fact that, for the first half an hour of the interrogation was done in a different tone and tenor, the treatment was completely different. But the last 10 minutes after they found out that I am a law student in the verge of getting graduated, the treatment was completely different. So let alone Indian police, Indian departments, and the respect that you get here. Even in a country like United States of America, in a city like New York, in an airport like John F. Kennedy, which is supposed to be one of the best airports in the world, even the police officials over there gave you a royal red carpet treatment. The later food was served, juice was bought in, and for all the trauma that I had to undergo. And this is how I was pampered and sent back. So this is something that only law field can give you. And lastly, the amount of respect. People know that you are a no nonsense person by basic. People know that, you speak with facts. Like, with all due respect to other professions, they only have an area of expertise there where they can use their information. But a lawyer is supposed to know everything that's under the sun, or at least have basic information. So your opinion is taken with a huge amount of weightage and respect. And I think that is the best about advocacy. And then coming to my entrepreneurial startup, I think the privilege that it gives us to interact with the young minds. My startup, the Indian Conclave, or which I have with other co-founders who are from cities such as Bombay, Mumbai, and Hyderabad, etc. our agenda was to bring India together and young minds of India together. And looking at our future generation, to getting an opportunity to interact with them, help them in the best possible way, bring out the best in them, exhaust their researching capabilities, teach them new things, provide them a platform on a bigger stage, give them the required exposure that we were denied of when we were in that age. And most importantly, giving them a platform to express their talent, giving them a platform to network, giving them a platform to interact, ask questions, get their questions solved, and most importantly, make new friends. I think because of the pandemic, if you see, three things were largely affected in India. One is the healthcare and so many people losing lives. Number two was the economy. And number three was the capacity building ability of the youth. They were not able to go to school. They were not able to go to playgrounds. They were not able to play. They were not able to meet their friends. They were not able. And today, when we are all isolated and we are in the lockdowns, we realize how much of these things, these little things of going to a class, meeting your friend, hanging out with your friends, not being able to meet your crush is taking a toll on our mental health. But we wanted to avoid all that, and we said, okay, fine, we will give them a platform where we want to bring India together, promote Indian culture, Indian youth. And that is where this startup came in. And that is where the Indian Conclave is growing big. And God willing, we will break more barricades and barriers to make this as a conclave with a lot of people, not just across India, but across the globe. And let us see, I'm very excited to see the direction it's going to take.
Right. I can't say much for the advocacy part of it because I don't know much about that yet. But when it comes to TIC, you have definitely achieved all the things that you have said. Me personally, I do believe that you are doing exactly what you just said, giving people the platform that they need, helping them get better.
Thank you.
This is a great thing that you have started. And this is the only reason that I know you, because of this platform.
My pleasure.
Right. Now, what do you wish that you have known before you got into this field about the law field? Something that you wish you would have known before you got into it?
Absolutely nothing. Because I am a lover of adventure. Don't hang out with me because I make you do wildest of things. At least I explore and stuff like that. So there is not. So initially, first few months of joining law school was all of regret, and I was missing my friends. It was a new environment, not something that I wanted to do. So I just gave myself to the journey, did whatever came my way with absolute dedication. Got into a lot of conflicts and a lot of controversies. I think I still am a part of most of them. But I think there is nothing that I wish I had already known, because I think that is where if I'd known something, I think nothing could have made me feel more inquisitorial. What keeps me very energetic, what keeps me so curious, even after 6 years, 5 years of law school, 1 year of being in the field, and despite having some significant amount of experience amongst the youth, what still keeps me going is my interest towards experimentation. I am still curious. Like maybe I have done 100 interviews, but still I'm still curious about what might be my next question. That is why I did not ask you for a script, like, what are the questions that you're going to ask me. So what is curious is about what is my next project going to be? How am I going to argue my next case? What is that's ahead of me in the 3 days ahead? So there's nothing that I did not wish, because if it is something bad, I learn out of that bad. It will make me more strong. If it is something good, I'll try to be better than how I previously was. So I think I am ready to take both of it, and preferably more of bad things, because these are the things that makes us stronger and that test us who we truly are. So there's nothing that I wouldn't want to know. It's everything that I would want to experiment and explore.
That is amazing. You mentioned conflicts and learning from bad things. In that aspect, what do you see are the major issues or trends in this field during these days?
All right. So the major issue I see is somewhere down the line, I feel that people only depend on team spirit for a particular point of time. I see that the biggest strength that we as youth need is working as a team and working together. But in a team, always there will be this one person or a specific group of people who think that they're better than their other peers, and they would want to go rogue. And I feel that the biggest challenge is when you become an individual, when you start thinking that you're above and where you're beyond an institution. It can be your college, it can be your school, it can be the company you're working for, it can be the office you're working for. Always remember that you're not bigger than the institution, you're not bigger than the school, you're not bigger than the country, you're not bigger than your city. And there are these individuals who think that they can go individual and they can make things big. But I want to tell them that going alone can take you faster, but going together can take you longer. So always keep up the team spirit. Never feel that you're above, no matter how good you are. Even you may be the only person being the person who is running the team, but that does not make you someone who is above and beyond the team. And always believe in the spirit of the team. Always be a team player. Always, try to stay away from the spotlight as much as you can. Focus on work. Because I strongly believe in two kinds of philosophies. There are people who work, and then there are people who take credit for the work, but always belong to that category who work, because there is less competition there. So always stay in the category where people work, because to take credit, everybody wants to take credit. Right. Success has many fathers, but failure is an orphan. So always be grounded to your team. And I think in my field, that is the biggest challenge, to keep the team together and always keep the team motivated, always keep the team excited about the upcoming project, and glue them so that we have many instances where there is always an individual who tries to think he's beyond and above the team. So keep them under check. I think that is the biggest challenge.
Yes. Thank you for the insight into this. I'm sure that not many would have this kind of thinking, right? And you mentioned about how far one can go, and it's not about the speed, it's about how far one should be able to go. In that regard, what would be the typical next career move for someone in your position?
Next career
move, yeah.
The next career move. So always I believe in one thing. I think there's a very famous Telugu movie dialogue also on this, where it's from Mahesh Babu's movie, where he says that success has no full stop, but there is only commas. So right. I am a strong believer of that. So in any profession that you're doing, just make sure that you create an impact. Your name might not be remembered, and to be very honest, it won't be remembered. Like 10-15 years down the line, today I have a team which has a board of directors, core members, etc. 15 years down the line, Naman Vankdari might be irrelevant in their lives. But what should be remembered is, along with Naman Vankdari, what all did I do? What all work did we do? What all did we do as the Indian Conclave? Where did we go? The work should remain. Your vision should remain. Your ideology, I'm not talking about political ideology, I'm talking about the ideology which paves way for what is reflecting in your mind, for the welfare of the society. What good you did for the people, good you did for the community. That work should prevail. And I think that is what is in the long run. So after, you can be doing multiple careers at the same time, or you can be saying, okay, fine. Say tomorrow an advocate XYZ becomes a politician. But what all did he do as an advocate? That should always be remembered. Now he's a politician. What all does he do as a politician? That should be remembered. Tomorrow he goes to the United Nations. What all is he going to do there? Because at the end of the day, it's the work that remains. It is the work that contributes to the growth of the country. It is the work that is going to help all of mankind. And most importantly, it is the work that shall symbolize your work, that shall symbolize who you truly are for the society. Now, I'll just give you a small example. Why do you think the nation remembers Bhagat Singh even to this day? Why do you think nation remembers Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose even to this day? Why do you think you open Instagram if you're a cricket follower? Why do you think it's been like almost 1 year since Mahendra Singh Dhoni retired? But why do you think every second day after every single Indian cricket match, we say we miss you, Dhoni, or there are memes and posts on Mahendra Singh Dhoni? That is
because of the work. Because of the work.
Exactly. So I think that work, that legacy that vision should remain.
Definitely, definitely. Now, what would you say to someone who wants to be on the same career path as you, who wants to be an advocate, who wants to get into law? What would you say to them?
So, firstly, I would say that, be mentally prepared, be mentally tough, and be willing to work hard. Because today the education is such, the parental culture is such that today, if we are living in that generation of India or that century wherein today you ask every second household in India, the priority of the parents is to get their children educated. Nobody would want to say that itne umar tak padhaungi beti ko bacha ko aur baad mein kaam mein le lungi. Nobody says that. So today you have, at least in majority of the families, you have a good family support to take up the career. So today to become an advocate or to crack competitive exams that certain law colleges expect and to get a seat in a good law college is no tough thing. You put a certain amount of efforts, you crack an exam, you are in a law school. But what really matters is how well you utilize that law school tenure, how well you make use of classes. Like what I fundamentally find today amongst the youth, especially, so your law school tenure, especially if you're taking the 5 years course, is something that will range between you being 18 years till it will stay with you till you turn into 23, 24. And these years are very crucial to lay a foundation. It disappoints me, at least in my personal case, that it disappoints me today that, when I say most of the law school students, they're either into drugs, they're into womanizing, they are into chain smoking, chain drinking, partying. Okay, you want to have some certain elements of fun, do it. I'm not saying be a nerd, be a library person, etc. But in your tryst with these distractions, I feel that I think one of the themes is ethics in your project.
Yeah.
I think an ethical advocate is missing out, because today we remember lawyers like Nani Palkiwala. We remember and celebrate lawyers like Ramjet Malani. We remember and celebrate lawyers like K. Parasaran. You just look at the work ethic of these people. I'm not saying they were not drinking, they were not smoking, no. Some of them, like Parasaranji, have even lived a life of a Nastika Brahmachari to carry out their profession. But what we are not prioritizing is that workaholicness. Like, where you have to study, it starts with reading the newspaper, whether it is relevant to law or whether it's not irrelevant to law. As a lawyer, as an advocate, you should know that you are a social activist. You are a social engineer. You are a social personality. So it is basic of you to know what is happening in the society. It's not very hard to give you this criminal manual and say mug up and tell me which section says what. You will say it. It's no big thing to study mug up sections and tell which section talks about what. But today, what we need is the skill. What we need is the human resource. So what is that makes you human? That makes you skillful, not mugging up, not knowing in and out of the sections, but how you apply the sections, how you apply the law, how you apply the rules of the game in your real life. So start with reading the newspaper, cultivate the habit of reading good books that has got something to do with the country's history, books that has got something to do with country's economy, books that has got something to do with country's political structure, books that talks about social issues, books that talk about where the nation is going. Every author might vary from another. So read books on social political leaders, read books on freedom fighters. To be a social worker in India, you need to know about India. To uphold the Constitution of India, you need to know about India. You need to know about the agricultural system in India. You need to know about the labor class of India. You need to know about the freedom struggle of India. You need to know about the foreign policy of India. You need to know about what India has given to the world. You need to know about what world gives India. So these are the things a lawyer should know, because sections and case laws is for everybody to read. But what makes a lawyer or an advocate stand apart, or a law student stand apart, is his connection with the country. And I think, and not just reading and working, have a positive approach. That is the second most important. Have a positive approach. Like when I say positive approach, what is that? Take up to leadership. Why? Because you take our Indian freedom struggle. If you give me the names of 10 freedom fighters from any state, any part of the country, I will tell you that 8 of them are lawyers or have someone with BA LLB degree. You want to talk about Gandhi, go see his education qualification. You want to talk about Ambedkar, see his education qualification. Patel, education qualification. Nehru, education qualification. Kriplani, education qualification. So you give me the names of 10 freedom fighters of your choice, I will give you their education qualification. You'll see that they're lawyers. Is it that they're very good with the law? No. The initiative they took. It can be event management. Take it up. It can be career counseling. Take it up. It can be calling the corporator and MLA, asking him why the roads, why haven't you maintained the roads? Take it up. If you want to call the local municipality person and reprimand him for not collecting the garbage in the locality, take it up. It's not just about books, library. It's about social initiative. You want to organize an event for the college, take it up. Because what I fundamentally see in law students today, once again, would not want to create the difference, but those people who study in the law colleges, the so-called dream law colleges, they're very good. You know, you talk to them intellectually, they give you the list of 10 case laws, intellectual thing, they're on point, which is fantastic. But how many of them have you seen taking up leadership in the society, standing in the front? How many of y'all have you seen who come, who interact with the youth, who motivate the youth and work and mentor them in such a way that they do good for the country? How many of them do you see taking that initiative to stand on the road and make sure that the garbage is cleaned regularly? How many of them do you see filing cases or reprimanding MLAs, MPs, and local municipal leaders to do good for the country? They study, they get a good job, they get a salary of 3 lakhs per month, life is settled. That is not the mindset we want. We want people who can fight. Even in the advocates, they come, they listen to the client's grievance, fight the case, get a judgment for them, leave the matter there, which is okay. But it is okay for their personal domain. But how many of y'all how many advocates do you really see who is really concerned about the society? So that mindset should change, is what I'd like to answer through this question.
Right. That's a very deep and informative answer, which is excellent. You mentioned that law aspirants should read a lot of books that has to do with the economy, the law itself, the country. Do you have some personal favorites or suggestions that
yes.
these books? Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So if you want at the end of the interview, I can show you some books as well. So my personal favorite books. So I am a lover of books. So in my school, I never used to read books, like let alone my textbooks. Even comics was something that I was far away from. But now I think I have developed a certain kind of interest and taste, and I can share certain personal books that, if not a law student, every Indian should read, because it varies from genre to genre. So Ramayana, Mahabharata by C. Rajgopalachari, that will always remain as my personal favorite. Then coming, if you're looking for some intellectual thirst, that catering to your question about if they want to know about the world, India, Indian history, social economics, etc. Glimpses of world history, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. Discovery of India, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. Mahatma Gandhi, My Experiments with Truth. Swami Vivekananda, Awakening India. Education of India, same by Swami Vivekananda. India by Durga Das. India After Gandhi by Ramchandra Guha. Then Waiting for My Visa, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. Then Nehru, The Years of Struggle. Once again, then those who are interested in international law and foreign policy, Pax Indica by Shashi Tharoor. Then in recent book, I'm not getting the name, by S. Jaishankar, India's Way Forward, Straightforward. That was his recent book on India's foreign policy. Then India by Durga Das. Then India Since Independence by Bipin Chandra, and India's Freedom Struggle for Independence by Bipin Chandra. So these are the few books that I would like to recommend.
Those are some very, very nice
and
books.
Of course, I'm so sorry. As a law student, two very most important books. Granville Austin, The Indian Constitution. This is the first part, and second part, Granville Austin, Working of a Democratic Constitution. It's the continuation of the previous book. So these two books, these are the must-read once you're in law school. So this gives you an insight and a deep understanding of the Indian Constitution. Then I can also say the Supreme Court Beginnings, by the Oxford Publications. It's by Gadbois. So that is another book which talks about the history of the Supreme Court and how we prevailed. So these are certain books that I can recommend for a person with law genre.
Those sound very, very interesting, and a lot of the authors are some of the greatest people on the planet. They were.
Absolutely.
Right. Now coming to the specifics of the law career path, what are the institutions and the exams that one should aim for if they're trying to get onto this path?
What are the institutions and exams that are okay? So let me start by, if I have the permission to disrespect your very question, because I am not a believer of an institution makes a good lawyer. Absolutely not. It is your individual self who makes yourself into a better human being. Because I've seen this narrative prevail amongst, I think I was a victim of that entire environment, and now I just see that it has multiplied. See, okay, law schools, such as the national law schools, they are an institution of great reputation. There's no second doubt in that. Then there are other private institutions which charge to 5 to 10 lakhs per annum, 3 to 4 lakhs per annum, and they promise you good legal education, which I don't doubt either. And then there are certain law colleges which don't even feature on the magazines, and where you see them taking fees like 50,000 to 80,000, and kind of sidelined because they're not good law schools. You are living in a myth. There is no good law school in India. There's no bad law school in India. Of course, certain law schools give you that required environment to promote intellectuality, to give you that kind of friends, and to give you a required studious atmosphere. But I want through this question, let me give my message to all the aspiring law students that don't get disheartened if you don't get into a law school. Don't trouble your parents if there is a particular law school which is equivalent to that of the national law schools, and you pester them for humongous fees like 8 lakhs, 10 lakhs, etc. I am a graduate of a law school where I paid only 10,000 per annum, a state government Bangalore University, a state government university, where if my class had 80 students, 50 of them were from rural India, which by default made us into a Kannada medium college. So mine is a government institution, but today I have no regrets. Today, in fact, I'm proud that I graduated from such a law college called the University Law College. And I am glad that, I never was into that madness which drove people to take up CLAT and get into law school. Maybe if I'd taken up CLAT, maybe I would have cracked I would have made it to a national law school. But I would have made it into a national law school, but my success would have stopped right there. I wouldn't have been as decent as I am today. I wouldn't call myself a successful person, but I would like to call myself as a person with authority. I don't think I would have been as authoritative as I am today. I don't think I would have had achieved a little 50% of what I've achieved today. By 50, I would even say 10% of what I've achieved today. So what the point that I'm trying to say is the law school is your individual self. As a law student, how well you read the newspaper, how well you can link the current affairs, how knowledgeable you are, how many books you read, how active you are in the student domain, how regularly you visit the courts, how regularly do you interact with senior lawyers, get your doubts answered, how well you craft your arguments, how seriously do you take your lectures, how inquisitorial you are towards learning, how well do you listen to the courtroom arguments, how curiously do you actually visit the court, learn the procedures of law, how well you do your internships, kind of people you interact with, kind of people you move, kind of research articles you want to write, kind of books you read, kind of friends you hang out with, how dedicatedly do you listen to the class, how well you organize events, how you stand as a leader and take charge of certain things and help your institution grow. These are the important requirements or quintessential characteristics of a true law student. So my message is as simple as that. Get into any law school. Don't worry if you may break the CLAT. Just be serious about your 11th and 12th marks, because that is very crucial for your career. Be very, very serious about all the competitive exams that you're taking. irrespective of any law school that you get into, be 100% student. If your law school has a drama team, try your hands in the drama team. If you're a good singer, if they have a music team, try your hands in the music team. If the school has a good sports team, try your hands in the sports team. It's okay if you fail. But don't just get confined to the library and the books. Grow beyond. If that law school has an event management team, go do that. If your professors require personal help them out personally. Apart from that, manage your academics. Make notes, or even if you're not able to manage time, read good books. Have that required orientation. Attend courts, because books, examination, semester examination is one part of it. But what stands with you in the long term is going to the courts, having interactions with the advocates, interning in the advocate's office, getting an opportunity to talk to the judges, learning the law of the land, staying related to the current affairs, asking questions, asking yourself questions, asking questions to your friends, asking questions to your peers, asking questions to certain personalities whom you might come across. Keep discussing on science, keep discussing on law, keep discussing about politics, keep discussing about social issues, but keep discussing, keep the engagement going. That is what makes you a 100% law student. Mahatma Gandhi was not a graduate of a top law school. Ambedkar was not a graduate of a top law school. Their performance at the basic level took them to Harvard and Lincoln's Inn and to great law schools. They were called by those universities to become their students. So at the foundation level, make yourself into a good individual, make yourself into a good student, make yourself into an obedient student of law. Then the big colleges will have you host them.
Yes, that I do believe that your viewpoint is on point. I think everyone should be following these things. Now, this is my final question. What would you say is your personal motto?
My personal motto. So once again, I believe in passion. So my personal motto is Shramameva Jayate. Even my WhatsApp, Instagram, everything goes with that logo, Shramameva Jayate. Because no matter what you do, how much you do, what you are, what kind of a person you are, who you are, doesn't matter. Success and victory only boils down to hard work. And hard work is the only thing that can move mountains for you. There is no shortcut. There is no other option. There is there's no other alternative. There's only one alternative, and there's only one way, that is work hard, persevere with what you're doing, stay loyal, stay sincere, not just grow, but try your best to take a group of people along with you. Even it can be one person, but take that person along with you. You need not be a Stalin or a Lenin or a Hitler that as soon as you say and you appeal to mass crowds, 1,000 members die for you. No, just influence one person in your life, and I think you're on track. And that aura, that charisma, and that ability comes only if you're hardworking. It doesn't matter if you're rich or poor. It doesn't matter if your father is so-and-so or if you're an orphan. The world or the surroundings around in the world only sympathize with you if you're hardworking. Your caste, creed, religion, sex does not matter. Who you are, who's your father does not matter. You're hardworking, you have the skill, you have the talent, you have the ability to inspire, motivate, and most importantly, be a team player. I think the world sympathizes with you, and you can know no defeat. The victory is only for the ones who can dare to dream and who have the courage to implement what they dream. To speak about big terms is very easy, but to convert your thoughts into action requires courage. So just work on, it can be the smallest of thought. It can be as soon as I wake up, I will make my bed. As small as that, to say that, tomorrow TIC, I will start a Pride Month. Something as basic as that, or to say that I want to become the chief minister of my particular state tomorrow. As magnanimous as that, try to start converting your thoughts into actions. I think you're on track and on point.
That is a very, very good personal motto. Hard work above all else. I would like to thank you very much. So very grateful that you've come here. I know I've taken up quite a lot of time, but very
I think I have taken up a lot of time. You might have expected answers in brief, but I just went on and on and on.
No.
So I'm sorry if it went
No,
beyond the stipulated time.
The longer the answers, the better for us. The more information that we get. On behalf of my magazine team, on behalf of the entire DPS Hyderabad school, indeed, I would like to thank you and express my gratitude for you being here, for you accepting to be interviewed. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Arohan. It was my pleasure. All the best to you and your editorial team of the DPS magazine. God bless you all. Thank you.
Thank you.